Hi, Sarah Banis here, Spectrum Weavers. I'm going to show you some of the basic functions of Design Space. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll start off here. You can see this is my logo, and you can see this text. So if you're looking over here on the right-hand side, this is your layers panel. So this is one layer, and this is another layer. And you can see as I select them, they highlight over here. Right now, these are set to print. So you can see it'll say cut print anytime it's set to print. If you want to switch this over to be something that will be cutting and not printing and then cutting, you will click right here on the top where it says print. Click that, drop down to no fill. Okay, and now this is set to cut. Okay, you can still switch the color of it right here on top, so that you can set your design up how you want it. But it is set here, you can see just to cut now. Okay, so I'll go ahead and switch that back to pink because I prefer that. You can see here I'm clicking the back button right here. You can always back out of things as long as you have not saved. Once you've saved, then that's it. You can't back out of it any longer. So let's take these. I don't know if you saw what I did just now. I drew a box with my mouse pad around both to select them. You can use that to select all, or you can also click up here, very top, and select all, and that will select everything on your workspace. So let's go ahead and build a castle, okay? So we'll go to Shapes, and click on Square. And when you click on the square, if you just pull on the outside corner, it's going to pull without changing the dimensions at all. Dimensions probably isn't the right word, but it's going to keep all of your dimensions intact. So if you click this lockbox over here, now you can change it. So now you can just kind of freestyle move it to the shape you want. So, and you can also do that up here by just changing it on there if you want exact dimensions. So let's go ahead and first we'll build the front of our castle. Let's make it a castle color. So pink again. Actually, let's drop that down. So with your colors, you can click on any color that you want and then click on advanced, and that'll bring this up. And you can either move that on the slider and then move it on here, or if you just click on the color, it'll automatically come up in that general area. Let's turn it to a lighter pink. Like that. So let's go ahead and put this right here. And then next, let's take two towers for either side. So we'll make this the first tower, unlock it. And so take this and let's make this a lighter color gray. Okay, and make it shorter. Okay, and so what we're going to do here, we want two of those. So we'll click duplicate and bring this over to this side and kind of butt it up against the side the best you can. Okay. Okay. And now what you're going to do is I'm going to want to align the bottoms, okay? So I will drag my square, my selector square around the three, get them all selected, and I'll go up here on the top. You see a line right here. Click on line, and then click align bottom. Okay, and that's going to align everything right along the bottom. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shape and I'm going to let's build the top parts of our, actually probably should have done that first, but that's okay. So let's build the little top parts of our towers here. Okay, so we'll take this right here, and right along there is fine. And I'm going to duplicate. Oops. duplicate, 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 duplicate. I want 5 of them. That may be too many, but that's how many we'll start with. Okay, and now, again, it doesn't have to be exact. Just kind of put these in here. You'll see in a minute, we're going to evenly space them out. Okay? So what I want to do is I want to draw a box just touching just those. I don't want to accidentally select this. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a line, and I'm going to go to the very bottom here where it says distribute horizontally, okay? And now they're all equally spaced out. Now what I can do, oh, and I also want to align, and I want to align those bottom. So these are now equally spaced out in an equal line, okay? And I'm going to weld those together. Now once you have welded a shape, you cannot unweld that by any other method than using this back button. And once you've moved forward in your design, that's not something that you're going to be able to do. You're not going to want to back out through all of your design and erase, all of what you've done. So once you've welded it, that's it. It is now a welded image. It's all one piece. And you can see, and this will come up later on, but you can see, so when I select that, and you can see over here, it is now one single layer. Before, each of those would have had their own individual shape over here. They're now one layer, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I moved too quickly on that. I shouldn't have made this one because I'll just duplicate this. I'm gonna select the tower and the top shapes, and then I'm going to weld those all into one single piece. Okay, that's now one piece. And now I'm going to select that and duplicate it. Okay. And I'll move this right over here. And again, I will select the 3 of them, and I will align bottom. Okay. No, there we go. Now I'm going to take a triangle. So now I'm going to want this to be the same width across as the pink one. So I'll check the pink one, and my width is 4.069. So click back to select my triangle, and up here I'll go 4.069, okay? And now that's going to be exact. Drop that right down on them. Okay, and then I'm going to change this to be that same gray. Okay. And now I'm going to take and I'm going to show you how to slice, okay? So I'm going to take a circle. Think of slicing like a cookie cutter, okay? So you're going to take, this circle is your cookie cutter, and this is your dough, okay? And so I'm going to reduce this down. I'm going to make it that big, and I'm going to, I want this to be right in the center. So I'm going to click off of it to unselect the shape that I had selected, and I'm going to draw a shape I'm going to draw the selector shape just big enough to grab these two, to grab the circle and the triangle. I'm going to go to a line, and I'm going to center horizontally. Okay. And now with both of those two selected down here, and the lower right hand corner slice will be selected, okay? And I'm going to click slice. And now I'm going to move away the circle, but you can see there's still the circle that was sliced out, just like a cookie cutter. This is your cookie cutter, this is your dough. Remove that, and now you have your sliced image. Okay, now before we go any further, I want to show you something, okay? So oftentimes I'll see people say, oh, well, my slice button, it's not, it's not lit up, it's not working. Almost 100% of the time, the reason is that you have more than two items selected to slice. Your slice button it'll only work if you have 2 items. So I'll show you here. Oops. Say I want to take this circle and slice it out of this square right here, right? So I'm going to select all of this information over here. I'm going to select the 2 boxes in the square. I'm selecting all of that, right? Slice is not lit up. Slice isn't lit up because I have 2 boxes in the square. That's 3 items. Now, if I move this one away, I can just select these 2 and now slice will be lit up. Okay. Now another thing, if you have items that are super close together and you just want to select these 2 items and not all 3, but you don't want to move everything apart, the way you would do that is you would click your first item and then press Control and select your second item. That is another way to select just the items you want. And you can do that repeatedly. You can select 5 or 6 items that way if you're trying to weld things together or anything like that. But that's it. If you don't have the ability to just draw a box around the items that you want, that is another way. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of all of this. Oh, as well, should have kept those squares because I need a square, but that's okay. All right, so now this is what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to take this. I'm going to make crossbars on my window here. Okay, so I'm going to reduce that down. I need a little bit longer than that. And then I'm going to duplicate it. And now I want to turn this one by 90 degrees. So while it's selected, you have to make sure that your item is selected. And then go up here to rotate 90 degrees. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these 2. And I'm going to go to align. And now I'm just going to go to center. And then I'll center both horizontal and vertical. Okay, and then I'm going to weld those together. I'm going to move this over here. This I'm just going to eyeball, but I mean if I had left the other circle I could have gotten it exact, but I was going to eyeball and that'll be fine. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to select these 2, my crosshairs and my triangle, and I'm going to weld them together. Okay. And now let's take 2 circles. This one's smaller. This one. Duplicate. Okay. And so now what I want to do, and again, I could have just built both towers, built one tower as a whole tower, and then duplicated that. But just for the sake of showing you how each of the different features of Design Space works, I'm going to show you this. So with that selected, again, press Control, and then click on this other circle. Okay, and now I want to align and align vertically, and it makes them, that puts them both in, so that they're exactly vertical to each other. So I'm going to select these 2, I'm going to slice, and I'm going to select these 2, and I'm going to slice. Oops. Okay. And I'm going to move all of this away. Select all of this and delete. And now I'm going to build some doors. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to unlock it. Put this right here. So I'm going to select that in the pink part. And I'm going to go to Align. I'm going to go to Align Bottom. And then I'm going to go to Align. And I'm going to center it horizontally. And then I'm going to unlock. This was 1.417 high. So 1.417 high. And do that thinner. That thin. 1 second. And I apologize for the video being a little long, but ultimately these are all things that you'll want to know how to do. And repetition is kind of key to learning. So let's change this color to the gray. And so you'll see that if I do that, I accidentally select the pink also. That's not what I want to do. I just want this gray part in the middle. So let me show you something else. See how I'm having difficulty grabbing that? You can also do the same thing over here. So select that layer and then press Control and select that layer. And that'll work also. Okay, and now I want to align and I want to center. Okay, and now I'm going to put 2 little doorknobs on there. So 2 little circles. And we're going to make those a nice gray color. Select that, duplicate, and then I'll take this, right there. I'll put this one right here. And then just do select, Control, select, and then align, and align vertically. And if you wanted to, so I have these 2 selected still, right? And now I'm going to select that center square because those are all the same color. And I'm going to weld those into a single piece, okay? So now that I have those welded into a single piece, if I went to cut this right now, I would have 3 mats. I would have one for the pink, one for the gray, and one for the dark gray, okay? So now that I welded those, what will happen is I would have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces on the gray mat, 1 piece on the dark gray mat, and 1 piece on the pink mat. And that would be super easy to put together, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build some crosshairs for these other 2 windows real quick. That should be plenty. And make that much shorter. Oops. Okay, and oops, probably not quite big enough. And again, I just want to reiterate, this all could have been done in the beginning, where I could have just built each tower independently. So if you're doing this yourself, you can build 1 tower and then just duplicate that finished tower and have 2. And I probably should have done that, but just trying to show you all of the functions. So do this, select both, align, center, well, I don't know if that's going to be big enough. If it's not, I'll just make it a little bigger. Just make it a little bigger. Sorry, okay. So if that ever happens where you've just pressed colors in. You can go right back over to layers. So duplicate, bring this right over here. Okay. So let's see if I can drag them out so it's off something like that. Okay, there we go. So select these and we'll have that all together. And then select these and we'll have that all together. Okay. Now, me personally, I don't set any of my text up in Design Space just because of the kerning error, the way that it spaces out letters out oddly. There's an error in Design Space. I'll show you that in another video. But you could do something cute. You could make like Jacqueline's first or something like that. Write it on the top of the castle and turn that into a cute little first birthday party decoration or something like that, or on a kid's store or anything like that. But that's just a basic rundown of some of the more basic functions of Design Space to get you accustomed to using the program. I'll just show you real quick what happens if I were going to make this. So let me just show you one other thing quick. You can also hide layers. So if I wanted to hide this layer, I wanted to hide this layer before I cut it so that I didn't try to cut those. See this eyeball right here? Click on that, it goes away. Click on that, it goes away. But it doesn't delete it, it just hides it from being cut. So if I did want to cut this, let me go ahead and show you how I would do that. Okay, so how I would do that, I would go to make it, and it's going to give me 3 mats. Okay, so 1 for each color. So here are the different parts that would come on this, and then this, and then this. So you would cut each of those, and then you would first transfer this, and then you would transfer these on either side of it, and then you would lay your door on top of the pink, and then you would put your doorknobs and door divider on top of that. And then you would have it all laid out, and that's it. And there's really not much more to it. So those are the basic functions. Now there is also a contour function, which we can go over in another video. I hope in next week's video I will make a video on how to upload, and then how to upload designs, and then they call it cleaning up, so that you're getting rid of the background so that you can actually use the design. That's not something that if you buy an SVG, it'll already be done and that'll already be handled for you. But there will be times where you will need to know how to do that. So, but other than that, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. And that covers the basic functions. All right, have a good day.